Welcome to the first intermission. Vancouver Canucks, Minnesota Wild, Game 4.
Hey, you like the shirt?
I love the shirt. Yeah,
Thank you.
I like that you're representing KFN. I'm Brandon Mileski, he's Micheletti, and the Wild have a 2-1 lead here over the Vancouver Canucks after one period. And Pat, other than maybe the last couple minutes, I didn't think the Wild played very well in this period. They had a 2-1 lead, with 5 minutes to go, and I'm thinking they're not even playing that well. They're lucky to be where they are.
They really are because, after the first goal, which was not a great goal, nor the second, Vancouver dominated the period. Shots were 12-4 at one point after Minnesota scored that first goal. And, people will understand at the end of the game how important Ryan Suter is to this team. And the good thing is they're up 2-1. They won the first period. Got 2 left to win.
Yeah, I was just going to bring up Ryan Suter not in the game, and obviously with them all in the bubble, we don't kind of get the news that we once usually that's something like a Michael Russo would probably break 2 hours before game time. But so we really don't have much information other than Ryan Suter's the kind of guy who plays hurt. He doesn't get out of the lineup very easily, so you'd have to think in an elimination game like this, it's probably a serious injury, and it does, as you mentioned, have an effect on the Wild up and down the roster. Where Spurgeon and Brodin are going to get a lot of minutes tonight. Susie clearly gets an elevated role, and I thought he was kind of out of position on that one Vancouver goal that they had.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to be able to survive this injury.
And Matt Dumba's going to have to change his game a little bit tonight. I mean, they got to be more on the defensive end. I don't think Dumbo will take as many chances. If he does, he's got to be real careful. He's playing with a partner. He's got to be careful tonight in the way, because they've got to keep pucks out of their own net.
They're getting him in the other net, and I think Jacob Markstrom has looked a little shaky here, Pat. He's had 2 goals, both in the short side. Even that Parisi chance later in the period, he looked a little awkward on it, making a short side save. Are you noticing something going on with him there?
Well, I think the whole series. I mean, at times he's been fabulous, but I think we could call it a lack of consistency from him. We said after game 1 he's gettable. We saw the first goal of the series by Fiala. It seems like he's fighting it. If it's not a spectacular save, the normal saves are the ones that he's having a tough time with.
Nice to see the Wild power play get on the board, even though it was kind of a weird goal by Cunnin, because he lost the puck and then all of a sudden batted at it a second time. But talk about the power play, Cunnin scoring immediately, and then even on the second power play they had, threw a little bit of a wrinkle. Obviously with no Suter, you got Dumba on that top power play unit, but they had Fiala on the other side this time. I'm typically not a fan of Fiala on that side, but given how bad the power play has been over 2 games, it's a good thing to at least change it up to a certain extent.
Well, one thing I've noticed too is that, remember we talked about the other night, everything was perimeter. They're getting it back, and they're releasing the puck quicker. And I think that's important to do. You've got to get shots on net. I mean, especially with a goaltender that you don't think is on his game, you've got to get pucks to the net, bodies to the net, find the puck, and try to get those ugly goals behind them.
Marcus Foligno on the top line with Stahl and Fiala tonight, and I've talked with you before, Pat, about I really like Marcus Foligno as a 4th liner. I'm okay with him as a 3rd liner. I don't think you can win a Stanley Cup with Marcus Foligno on your top line. That being said, a nice pass to Stahl on that goal, and he's actually been double shifted a couple times. He played with Eriksson Ek and Greenway for a little bit for defensive purposes. He's at least a dependable guy.
I think he's there, Brandon, and I'd love your thoughts too. But I think he's there, to bang bodies, to create more space for Eric Stahl and Kevin Fiala, and just kind of be a pain out there. And he got the puck behind the net, made the pass, and Stahl takes a shot. But you've got to try different things. When you're not scoring goals, like in the previous game, you've got to change it up a little bit. And so far so good.
Anthony Gallet says, I really like Nico Sturm's game. What do you think?
Well, he is what he is. He is, what we like to call it, Brandon, that 200-foot player, and he's very he's a very smart player. He doesn't get out of position. He's big. He's strong. And he's not going to hurt you defensively. And quite frankly, I think they may have found their fourth line center for next year, and he skates well enough, and he's got a chance.
Yeah, my fear with him is people are already overhyping him too much.
Yeah.
I saw one tweet that said Nico Sturm's going to be a player, and I'm thinking, yeah, he'll be a bottom six forward for you, and I'm fine with him there. But let's not expect that all of a sudden, because he's a young guy, that he's going to start rising up in your top six.
And what do we want, Brandon? We have enough bottom six players. Yes, he's young. He's going to step into that role, but the upgrade needs to come a little higher.
Jared wants to. He asks, "Is Spurgeon all right? Came off a little slow on that last shift. I did see him a little awkward after he took that hit. And given Suter's out, they cannot afford to have Spurgeon or Brodin go out.
And now mail it in if he goes out. But hey, those hits are not fun. These guys hit hard, and he'll shake it off. I mean, we don't even know, Brandon, and you and I are close enough to it. These guys play hurt, and some have been hurt for a month now. Not this particular go around, but during the season, right?
Yeah,
you got guys playing hurt all season long, and it's they're tough and they play through it. And Jared, I'm sure will be fine.
I still remember Andrew Burnett back in the day playing half a season on a torn ACL.
Right.
And
think about that.
And nobody knew. Yeah.
No. And trust me, it's no fun playing hurt. You do it because you love the game, and maybe sometimes you shouldn't be playing, but you do it for your teammates.
Andy says, Canuck forwards continue to get inside the defenders down low. Can they really rely on Myers staying on the Wild payroll to keep them in the series?
Yeah, 9 penalties in this series
in 10 periods.
Yeah, I
saw a stat that
it's
everywhere else in the NHL, the highest is 4 penalties, and he's got 9.
And he was a highly sought after free agent who got paid by Vancouver. And I was very happy that the Wild didn't sign him in the offseason. But here's a guy, if you're looking at him, he's big, he's strong, he can skate, he handles the puck, he's got a good shot, can't defend real well. But of course you're gonna take a chance on him.
Matt Johnson says, do you guys think Parise will be on the Wild next year?
If I were to guess, I would say probably not.
Really?
No, I think yes.
He's still a hard contract to trade.
He's still a hard contract to trade.
Yeah.
But I think they will do what they can to move. I think they know just by watching this series. And you watch the other teams in the league, they got to find a way to get younger up in their top 6. They have to. If they come back with a Stahl Parise in your top 6, you've got a ways to go.
Well, they do have Kaprizov coming, so there's one guy in your top 6.
Yes. Yeah, you have him, and we've talked about it, Brandon. They need to upgrade at center. They have to find another centerman, and ideally you want to take some pressure off of Eric Stahl. I mean, if he has to be your number 1 center, then that's putting a lot of pressure on a guy who's 36 years old.
Jared says Stalock needs to be smarter with the puck behind the net. Other than that, he's made some great saves. He had the one pass where he missed Dumba. I was actually bothered also by the way that Dumba followed up on the play when it was clear Vancouver was going to get it, and he left his guy alone down in the corner. So I also thought there was misplay there, but Stalock's been great. He absolutely robbed Horvat on that one. Besser, he had that glove save on. I mean, he's been good again tonight.
Listen, we all know his game, right? And you cringe sometimes when but when he goes after the pucks and plays it, and but that's him, and his teammates know it. We all know it. So you just kind of live with it, and he's been great. Yep, no doubt.
Jake Englert says, "What is the last line change doing for us?" And Pat, if the Wild get to a game 5, they will not have the last line change.
Well, what it's doing, it's getting echoed against JT Miller, and anytime Miller's out on the ice, they're going to try to get the Eck line out there, and go that way and try to stop them. What concerns me a little bit is sometimes, when you have a checking line out against a really, really good line, and I've seen it time and time again. Sometimes you can get in the mode of being too defensive, and and then guys like that, they sense that, and they will come at you, and sooner or later they're good enough to get through you. So I don't mind that line being out there against them, but you can be a little bit aggressive on them too.
If they do get to a game 5, and we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves here, Pat, but if Suter's not available on Sunday, that line change, the second change becomes huge. Because when you have those top 4D where you can kind of match up or whatever line you're up against, Barkowski and Hunt are going to face a lot of that top line at times, and it could be a bit of a struggle. But let's get to game 5 first.
Yeah, right.
I will talk to you after the second intermission. The Wild have a 2-1 lead.
Sounds great. Thank you.
All right. He's Pat Micheletti. I'm Brandon Mileski. Thank you so much for tuning in to our second intermission analysis. The Wild have a 2-1 lead over the Canucks here in game 4. Yes, not game 3. It is game 4. Hopefully they'll get to a game 5. We'll talk to you at the next intermission. Thank you so much for watching on our KFAN YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook channels.